Hello everyone and welcome back to another Starfield video. My name is Brian if you happen to be new to the channel, but if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for being a part of the 65,000 of you who've taken a chance on my content and hit that subscribe button. Ever since I just started showing off this velocity, you guys continue to subscribe more and more, so thank you all from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me and my family, and hopefully you guys enjoy the content that I produce here. Let me know your thoughts, and if you guys have any requests, I'm here to hopefully help serve your video game and discussion needs. But let's not waste your time. Let's go ahead and dive on into the core of what this video is about, and it's your burning questions for Starfield. Now, if you learned something from this video, please hit that like button. You guys have been incredible at supporting my other content with those like challenges. I'm going to set this as a very low 100 like challenge if you guys do that, because you guys crushed it on my last Starfield video with over 500 likes. So let's just keep this modest, but hold on to that. If you learned something, that's where I want to earn your like. But beyond that, let's go ahead and dive on in. We're going to start with the basics. If anybody here is just like, what is Starfield? What is going on? I want to help make sure that this video answers all your questions. Hopefully you guys enjoy the gameplay, and we're going to be right around the corner. First and foremost, when is Starfield getting released? September 6th is the official release date. You can get early access as soon as quote unquote September 1st, but I've even seen some dates talking about August 31st. So just note, I'm going to be playing it. I'm going to be live streaming it. And if you guys are still on the fence, which I would say this, before you buy this game, wait for reviews from trusted sources. There's no risk in waiting, because also this game's on Game Pass. So if you have Game Pass, you already got Starfield. If you don't have Game Pass and you're debating on spending the money, just wait for reviews. You won't be harmed by doing so. In fact, it could only benefit you. But if you're as excited as me, I'm already on Game Pass and I've already purchased it on Steam because I'm weird. Welcome to the channel. Let's go ahead and continue on. Obviously, the conversation shifts into, will this game come to PlayStation? The answer is, honestly, PlayStation fans, you should talk to Sony. You should put your feedback in and voice your concern. This could come to PlayStation if PlayStation enabled xCloud, which they had in the past, and turned that off specifically to keep you guys from being able to stream this game and other xCloud games to the PlayStation. Xbox doesn't do that, and I think the PlayStation base could voice that, as an option. So no, unfortunately, it's not coming to PlayStation, but it is going to be on PC and on Xbox, which is going to give you lots of options. How do you get access to the early access here? Well, if you pre-order the Ultimate Edition, that is essentially where that premium access comes. This is a timed thing because after the 6th, everybody's going to have access. So there's no real reason to worry about that. But look into the options and see if that's something that you want to go ahead and get. There's obviously even more expensive editions, the Constellation Edition. And honestly, YouTube does this thing. You don't have to support it, but there is a products tag on this video. If you're interested, you can see what versions are out there. And if you do purchase something, I think I get a small kickback from YouTube. It is what it is. I'll let you guys do whatever works for your budget. Now, how long is it going to take to beat this game? Is this game worth the value, the dollars that you're putting into it? Now, for those of you who are new, if you've never heard me say this before, or returning people who have never heard me say this before, I look at it at $1 per hour of fun. That's the baseline. That doesn't mean it scales and shifts based off of each game. But if you think about, if I start from a dollar per hour of fun, that's usually what I want to justify my purchase price of video games to be. Game Pass throws this in a completely big different loop, and that's because I already have Game Pass. It's already included. But I went ahead and made the decision to purchase this game on Steam because I also wanted to be able to play it there and track my achievements there, because I have a problem and it's a good one, but it's still, I still think I'm pretty silly for doing that, but I'm very excited to be able to play it wherever. Now, preloads are going on, and I did try to install it on my console, but it said I had to buy the game, so I'm just going to wait on that. Same thing for the PC. I'm not really in a rush. There's still time at the time of this recording, but it is coming here pretty dadgum quickly. And with that model for the $1 per hour of joy, then I start to extrapolate that out into Starfield. Now, they say the game and the story should take around 30 to 40 hours to beat. That feels like an RPG campaign, but we're talking about 100 different solar systems, 1,000 planets, some of them procedurally generated, some of them kind of curated and whatnot. Weapons and exploration, and honestly, it's an RPG. You can get lost in these things for hundreds of hours. In fact, that's what Bethesda games do for me. I don't think I've actually ever truly beaten a Bethesda game, but I have spent hundreds and hundreds of hours in them just kind of doing whatever I felt like doing. Now, I don't know if Starfield would be different for me, but I'll be sure to let you guys know, obviously, later after the game has fully launched and I can give you guys true hands-on experience and true hands-on thoughts about this RPG. Personally, obviously, clearly very excited, but also the content creator in me is excited to be able to actually share that with you guys too. Our next focus is what kind of file size are we talking about? How big is this game? I actually covered it in terms of its comparison to Skyrim, which when Skyrim launched, it was at 4 gigs. This game, Starfield, is running at 125 gigabytes of storage space. I've even seen reports saying it goes up to 150. So I'm betting it's going to allocate 150 gigs for the game, but at the start, it's 125 gig download. To put this also more in comparison, the current version of Elder Scrolls Online is 95 gigabytes. So that to me says that there is a lot under the hood when it comes to this game. So when we talk about procedurally generated planets, here's what I'm hoping for. I'd love to hear your thoughts about what you're looking for. I kind of hope that there's some secret planets from some of the past. Like, if they put Skyrim in this game, I think I will lose my mind. It'll be wild to see what that could look like and feel like in the world of Starfield. Obviously, we don't know if that's going to be the case, but with, again, 100 different solar systems, 1,000 planets, using procedurally generated and the curated design, I think that we're going to see so many things going on out there. Now, what kind of factions are we talking about? Obviously, to the Fallout series, Starfield is going to have factions and colonies for players to join in. Now, let's take a second to talk about gameplay. This is an action RPG. And I've seen a lot of kickback from people who aren't enjoying or don't think they'll enjoy Baldur's Gate 3, but let's put that in comparison. This is also an RPG. It's going to let you make lots of decisions, and those decisions are going to play out throughout the entire game itself. But it's action-based. It's a shooter in this case. It's also got that survivability. It feels like, in a way, when you look at just the screenshots online, it does have this kind of Destiny-esque kind of paint to it, but set more in a realistic version of space travel, which honestly I think is pretty wild. But obviously the gunplay looks stellar, and you still have the ability to kind of talk your way out of situations and really try to play the game and approach each of the different situations as best you can. It also has space combat and travel and so much more that I think honestly there's going to be something for everybody in this game. The question will end up being is this package ultimately fun? And again, hopefully you guys enjoy the content here and you stick around and look forward to my review when it officially launches here on the 6th of September. Now, it's important to note for anybody out there wondering, Starfield is not a multiplayer game. This is a single player action RPG. So all of that builds into, you can go nuts, have fun. You're not going to sit here and have to worry about somebody else ruining your fun. Now, I personally enjoy multiplayer games, and I think the other side of that is that I do classify Starfield as a multiplayer game. Now, before you click off the video, hear me out. I believe in couch co-op. I believe in hanging out with my wife and playing games. I believe in hanging out and streaming and talking with you all in real time. There's a couch co-op nature to single player games. So I truly don't experience what a quote unquote single player game is because the discussion and everything around it is all built into what it means to be a gamer. But again, like I said, if you haven't caught on, I'm pretty weird about all this stuff. Now, here's where we get into the question of 30 frames and 60 frames. I find it frustrating and disappointing that the console isn't 60 frames, but you can judge me for that. I'm going to be playing on PC for the primary, which can do 60. So that's going to be where the difference is. I feel for those of you like me who like 60 frames, going to 60 frames and beyond, I do feel it stepping back. Will you have a bad experience at 30 frames? I doubt it. Will you experience some bugs? Most likely, but it's a Bethesda game. That typically is how these things roll out because of their size and scope, but we'll just leave it at that. So I'm personally pretty excited. It can still, on the console, do 4K on the Series X, do 1440p on the Series S. So if you got a TV that supports that resolution, you should be able to take advantage of that. Me, personally, I have a Series X, and I'm going to be picking up a Series S here in the near future to replace one of my old Xbox One X's. So that's going to be how it is. Now, When it comes down to character customization, you've got tons of options to choose from, and this also goes and applies to your ship. And you also have multiple romance options that you can choose to do. But I'm going to leave that up for you to discover what those are. Now, for the PC requirements, for those of you who are going to be playing on PC, they want 16 gigs of RAM, 125 gigs of storage space, AMD Radeon 5 2600X, or a Core i7 6800K CPU with an Radeon RX 5700 or NVIDIA GeForce 1070 Ti graphics card. I also hopefully will be playing this on GeForce Now. I run a 4080 on GeForce Now, and I love that service. They don't sponsor me whatsoever, but I'm going to keep telling you guys about it because as they continue to get more games, which is the biggest news that actually in my mind came out of this thing from May, was that Game Pass PC is teaming up with the GeForce Now, and those games are going to be available on GeForce Now, which is a huge win for you, for me, and for all of us who love to play video games wherever they might be and not have to sacrifice that high fidelity PC experience that you typically have to do when you're playing in a handheld mode. Anyway, that's it pretty much. Hopefully you've learned something from this video and got something good out of it. Like I said, if I earn that like, hit that like button. That's going to be a great way of helping this video out. Hopefully I convinced 100 people out there to do so on it. And guys, consider hanging out in the comments or whatnot. Let me know what you're most excited for, and I'll hopefully see you in my next Starfield video. But until then, guys, take care.